Top 10 Wars by Ray Velasquez, Kevel Banderi, and Thomas Holter Sorsen.
War of 1812.
I'm gonna impress your merchants for our war.
Fuck no, we going to war now.
In the War of 1812, Britain takes American sailors by impressment, and the U.S., with President Madison, was intolerant to this. The British were initially very victorious until they became less interested in fighting. Before the news of the British giving up the fight, the U.S. took victory at the Battle of New Orleans and the Treaty of Ghent was drafted. This event is historically significant because it led to a rise of patriotism in the United States as we thought we had once again defeated the British.
WUSA, yeah!
Spanish-American War.
You did it!
After the U.S. had completely expanded westward, the U.S. still desired expansion through imperialism. This idea of taking more land outside the borders was a huge factor that played in the Spanish-American War. Many factors led to its start, such as the cruel acts of Spain on the Cubans, the explosion of the USS Maine, yellow journalism, and the Delome letters. The eventual victory of the U.S. against Spain brought independence to Cuba, and the U.S. gained Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and Guam, emerging the U.S. as a world power.
America. Sign it.
Mexican-American War.
From the early to mid-1800s, the United States was influenced by the idea of manifest destiny and the need to expand westward. Texas had been annexed in 1845, and tensions increased between Mexico and the United States. This led to the many border skirmishes breaking out and the eventual declaration of war on Mexico by Congress under the request of James K. Polk. Mexico was eventually defeated, and the U.S. gained control of California, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming from part of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo.
I remember.
World War I.
In the First World War, without U.S. support both financially and militarily, Europe would have fallen to the control of the Central Powers, leading to the downfall of Europe. The U.S. helped fight back and eventually helped win the war, and afterwards the U.S. economically benefited by selling loans and resources to Europe.
Thanks, man.
Sure. Back for more?
Yes.
Hey, you!
Thanks, man.
Where's my money?
Here.
Korean War.
The Korean War was the first military conflict involving the U.S. post-World War II. It makes it significant, along with the U.S.'s belief in containment, that they must stop the spread of communism. The Korean War was short but bloody, lasting only 3 years, yet hundreds of thousands of American soldiers were wounded or killed. In a way, the U.S. was successful in preventing the spread of communism because the war ended with a demilitarized zone spanning the border between the two sides along the 38th parallel.
Vietnam War.
Hello, fellow Americans. It's President Lyndon B. Johnson. We're going to stop the spread of communism by going to war in Vietnam.
Using the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, President Lyndon B. Johnson used his power to any extent to try and secure peace. This led the U.S. into war against North Vietnam by supporting and protecting the Democratic South. The war raged on for many more years until the U.S. withdrew because people back home believed it was not our fight and no longer supported it. Vietnamization is the term used to describe the U.S. military's withdrawal from the country that ultimately led to the South being overrun by the North. This war is significant primarily because afterwards, parts of the president's power were taken by Congress with the War Powers Resolution.
Due to the humiliation of the Vietnam War, we're gonna reduce your power to declare war with the War Powers Act.
Oh no!
Also, we're gonna reduce the voting age to 18, because if you can fight in war, you should be able to vote.
Okay.
Cold War.
Post-World War II, the United States and Soviet Union emerged as the superpowers of the world. The two countries of different political ideals fell into an era of geopolitical tensions of democracy versus communism. The goal of the US was to stop the spread of communism within more countries, and countless measures were taken to accomplish this. Examples include assisting in proxy wars, creating financial plans for foreign countries, and making the US themselves look stronger compared to the Soviets. In the end, the USSR was dissolved and the US emerged as the largest superpower of the world and successfully contained communism.
Got the biggest gun. What do you know about this one?
I got this one.
And I got this one.
I got this one.
And I got this one.
I got this one.
I got this one though.
And I got this.
I got more nukes.
No way, I do.
I do.
No way, I do.
I do.
No.
World War II.
Through the majority of the war, the US practiced isolationism and stayed uninvolved in combat during the Second World War. This was until December 7, 1941, when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, forcing the US to join the war. This war is incredibly significant because not only did the US become a global superpower, but it became the only one to use nuclear weapons in battle. The dropping of Fat Man and Little Boy nukes on Hiroshima and Nagasaki was devastating, killing between 110,000 to 210,000 instantly. Despite ending the war, it would forever change how the wars would be fought, and nations would compete for power leading into the Cold War.
Civil War.
So, it's Abraham Lincoln. I'm president now.
No, we will not take that. We will be seceding. It will be the Confederates.
After Abraham Lincoln became president, 11 southern states seceded to create the Confederate States of America. This division is commonly referred to as sectionalism and was divided over the ideas of slavery. This division created military conflict between the North and South until the North was eventually victorious. This is significant because it led to the abolishment of slavery and unified the country once again.
Mr. President Abraham Lincoln here. We have abolished slavery, and we are once again united.
Revolutionary War.
Here's some taxes to pay off our war debts.
No taxation without representation.
This means war.
Stop! I'm here to help.
The British imposed taxes, leading the colonists to declare independence. The fighting begins and at first, Britain is much more successful due to their training and resources. But because the colonists are fighting on their home front with the help of France, they are victorious in gaining their independence and become the United States of America.
We have freedom now. Yeah.
Defend.